Welcome to Humankind, the video series by Momentor, connection tools and techniques for humankind.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, do you have a swatter?
I do. We don't need that on camera either. So
Right on the screen, like.
yeah.
Daisy, how are you?
Hi Heather. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So glad you're here today. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of the Humankind interviews. With each guest, we're going to explore 3 questions that relay a story of a human and an impactful moment or experience in their life and the epiphanies that they took away from that journey. And today, JC Connor is our guest. She is a certified parenting coach who also trained with the Jai Institute, which is where I've trained. And she and I have gotten to know each other quite well. She's a mom and a wife. She's got 3 littles, and I'll let her share a little more about that and her practice. So thank you so much for being here, JC. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I have 3 littles. I was in education for 10 years and I loved it. But after our 3rd was born, I decided to step away from teaching and just focus on figuring out parenting and being more present at home. I started my own parenting growth journey. And, after training with the Giant Institute for Parenting and completely shifting my relationship with my kids, I decided, to continue my own growth journey, but also supporting parents who are looking to overcome frustration and guilt to experience more joy and connection. So my business is called Joyfully Connected Parenting.
Beautiful. More joy. We all need more of that.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about a journey or an impactful moment from your life.
Yeah, sure. So the story I wanted to tell was actually about teaching, and then I'm going to kind of relate it to my parenting experience as well. So 6 years ago, I started the school year for 3 weeks, and then I went on maternity leave, and then returned in December. And so I got to meet my class for just those first 3 weeks and start the year and get to know them a little bit. And then when I returned in December, I was really excited to see them and they were excited to have me back. But I specifically remember one little girl, and she was really disappointed that I had returned. And at first it was like,
Yeah.
why don't you want me back? I kind of took it personally. And then really I was able to step back and realize she got very close with the other teacher. But she kind of was at the point where she didn't want to be there because she was, just disappointed. And so I really wanted to connect.
Hard sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's a big adjustment for sure. And I was gone for several months. So it's just, a big change. And so I really wanted to find a way to connect with her and kind of get to know her so that she did feel comfortable, coming to school and, being in my classroom with me. And so I went to the store and I bought a journal and I wrote her a little note. And then I asked her if she would write me back. And the next day she brought me the journal and set it on my desk. And that was the start of a really, really neat relationship where for the rest of the year, we journaled back and forth. And sometimes it was, how was your weekend? And other times it was a silly joke from a joke book or a picture that we would draw each other or a quote. So it was just kind of a mixture of different things. And through that, I got to know her really well on like a deeper level, and she got to know me. And it was just really neat because you could see that she was needing to feel, seen and cared about. And when she got that, her whole demeanor was different in the classroom. And you could see that she felt, there was that trust there that because she had it with the other teacher. And then when I returned, it was like, why are you back? And so that was really, really neat just to have that connection there. And thinking about this, I realized as well that I like to use notes a lot to connect with. I use them a lot with my students, like putting little notes on their desks. And we had this letter writing activity. It was called I Wish My Teacher Knew. And because, in a classroom when there's one teacher and 25 kids, it's really hard to get to know each kid, in a way that you would love to get to know them. So the letter writing activity was really special because I would share some personal things with them that they didn't know about me. And then I would ask them, okay, if you could tell me anything, I want you to write it down and write me a letter. So what do you wish that I knew about you? And it gave them the chance to just, it could be silly, it could be about their pets, their sports, or it could be serious. It was really whatever they wanted to share. And so then I would take these home, and it was so fun to read them and learn about each kid. And then slowly I'd write them back. And then they got, just kind of thank you for sharing. And I'm so happy I got to learn this about you. And so it was just really neat to kind of connect through writing and notes. And
what a neat way. So that's kind of question number 3 you already answered too. Like, how do you connect with others? What a unique way to connect with your students. Do you do that with your children as well? I know that.
Yeah. So I realized, when I was thinking about that story and how I really enjoyed writing back and forth with her, that I do that with my kids. Like my daughter last year, she'd pack her lunch for preschool, and I'd always put a note in there. And then she has a pocket in her lunchbox, and so she'd put them in there. And then at the end of the year, we got them all out, and that was really fun to read them. And even with, like my clients, after they finish the 12-week program, or however many sessions they sign up for, I send them a note with some little stickers, just remind them that they are enough. And so I realize that is one way that I really like to kind of connect with others and just kind of show appreciation for them. So
that's
great.
Something one of my coaches did years ago, and I just found this note as I was kind of prepping for meeting it today with you. She had us write a note to ourselves at the beginning of a program with her, and then she mailed them 6 months later to us.
So
we got a note from ourselves 6 months after the coaching program began with her. What a cool surprise. It wasn't really a surprise, but it kind of was, because I'd forgotten that we had written those, and that aligns kind of neat with what you have done with your kiddos and what you've done with your students.
Yeah. And you can see your growth when you're writing yourself a letter. That's really neat. Yeah. And so a couple of years ago, when I stopped teaching, that's really when I started my own parenting growth journey, and made it a focus to better understand specifically my daughter, because, she's my oldest, and to kind of figure out how to navigate her emotions and my own emotions. And what I have learned is, at first that connection piece was missing. It was more about, doing the parenting role tasks around the house, and, here's an activity for you to do. And then, through this journey, it's like I have realized it's more about, how can I sit down and do that activity with you and connect with you. Another way is that I really enjoy, connecting with my kids. It's not just how much, sitting down, having, of course, the quality time is huge, but it's also, I have found sitting down and just kind of listening and hearing about their day, or, what happened for them, and reflecting back on their experiences. Last night, my daughter was putting her to bed, and we just started talking about her day, and she's like, I just want to keep talking. And so I realized, like, for her to just be heard and to have someone really be curious and care about her day. Like that's what she was, needing to really feel, you know, loved in that moment, even though it was way past her bedtime. But
That's always
sometimes
when they
it's
want to
like,
talk, right?
yeah, but I was like, oh my gosh, like my daughter wants me to just keep talking to her. Like, yeah, you can stay up a little bit later. But, and also just, I had to do some work, kind of remove some judgments I had, about myself and her, and just kind of really see her for who she is and accept that, like, I'm not perfect and I don't have to be, and we're both just trying the best we can. um, and just, yeah, finding kind of other ways to connect through like how we communicate with each other has really, really transformed our relationship.
Share some epiphanies that you had. Question number 2 is share some epiphanies that you had from the experience of working with that student. And
Some epiphanies I've had are, not taking things as personally and trying to like really get curious about what's really going on for the person or the child, and that it's probably not, so much about me, but more so what's going on for them and what are they needing. And for, that student, she needed, well, it was a huge transition, but she needed, somebody to come in and care for her because she had just built a relationship with another teacher, and then here I come in and it's a big change. So she needed, um, you know, somebody to just show like her that she matters,
and some safety,
and
it sounds like
yeah, for
she was
sure.
feeling unsafe or needed to be reminded that you were a safe space too.
Yeah, definitely. And I did forget to share that, for years after that, she would help me set up my classroom. I'd go pick her
Oh,
up from home. She'd help me set up my classroom, and we'd go to lunch. So it was really neat. Um, so
cool.
I think some other epiphanies are, especially for, well, teachers and parents, is just like the focus of how can we connect with our kids and how can we show them they matter and we care and we're thinking about them, and we want to know what's going on in their lives. It's really easy, I have found, to get so caught up in, how clean is the kitchen, or just how clean is my classroom, or, grading papers or the laundry. And of course, those things have to happen, but it's just finding a balance of getting those things done and making time for what really matters, which is our relationship with our kids and, the other people that we care for in our lives. Another epiphany is just kind of releasing judgment about ourselves and our kids, and really just seeing them for who they are and that they're trying their best and we're trying our best. And um, how can we get through this and work together as a team?
Wow. Yeah, that is so true. I will even think back sometimes to like my very first parenting with peace class and how I thought I was gonna go in there and figure out how to fix my kid or align him with the world that I thought we should be
Yeah.
aligned with. And wow, what a moment to kind of realize a lot of it was centered around like what I was going to lead as a parent or how I was going to model my own behaviors, right?
Yeah. Well, that reminds me, when before I enrolled in the Giant Institute for Parenting, it was listening to all the podcasts, like every moment I had. And then I would get this great idea, and I'm like, okay, this is it. This is gonna fix it, and I would do it, and would think, it's still not working. And so I had that same mindset of like, how do I fix my child? And what I've learned is it's not so much about her, it is what was I needing for myself. And once I understood my own experiences and emotions and expectations, then I was able to meet her where she was at and give her what she needed.
Just jump over to question number 4 because you shared some really cool ways that you're connecting with others in your life. And I love the idea of notes and, making people feel thought of even when you're not there, which is what a note often does for us, right? So the optional question number 4, what, it's just a fun question. What's something that you love right now? What's something you're into? It can be.
Thing I love right now is cold brew.
Ah,
I used to drink hot coffee, and then I got started on iced coffee, and then I now drink cold brew every morning. We buy the we just buy it from Kroger, and I love it. But it's just a fun way to kind of wake up and start your day with some cold brew and almond milk. But Starbucks just came out with the pumpkin cold brew, and it's amazing. So I think if you like coffee and you like pumpkin, they're starting to change. It's kind of in the 70s. And I just love being outside with my kids and doing chalk. And sometimes I will just lay on the driveway, and sometimes they'll trace me, and sometimes I lay there and it feels just so grounding. And it's just kind of a fun excuse to kind of get grounded in your driveway while your kids are doing chalk. And it's just something I have found to be like one of the most relaxing things. So yeah, getting outside with my kids.
you guys fill them in too, like put the faces and hair on the.
Yeah, for sure. We had outfits, silly hair, and we made a whole Halloween scene the other day because my daughter and son are already excited for Halloween. So
aren't we all? Love Halloween.
That's really fun.
Orange on today already.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
JC, thank you so much for sharing with us today. It was so interesting to hear your story and that impactful moment that you had in teaching, and how you parlayed that into parenting, and how you connect with people. It was just a really neat story. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And as humankind, we each travel a unique journey filled with our stories from the moments and the epiphanies that we carry from those experiences, and they impact us in our connections. So I'm Heather McElroy. I'm a fellow human, a mom, outdoor girl, and parent-child relationship guide. And I'm grateful for you joining us today. And I encourage any feedback or thoughts below. Share with us what you thought, and how you, if you'd like to connect with JC or myself, I'll add information down underneath this video so that you can connect with us. JC, do you want to share your website for everybody?
Sure. Yeah. So it's www.joyfullyconnectedparenting.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here, JC, and sharing your story with us, and how you carry the impact that you have in the world to humankind.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Join us again, will you? In the meantime, follow our socials and reach out if you or someone you know is interested in learning connection tools and techniques for humans who parent. Cheers.